on, everyone? This is Lucas Ross Sports. Lucas Ross, your commentator. We continue our 2022 college football predictions. The Duke Blue Devils are up next. I'll give you my thoughts on this team, give you an official game prediction for this video, and also give you a game-by-game preview of the schedule, and we'll go from there. And before we do that, let's look back at 2021 for this Duke team. In 2021, the Duke Blue Devils went 3-9 overall. Not a good year last year for this Duke team. Something to build on this year for this team as well. The offense and defensively. Offensively, they should be pretty good, but they're still going to be young on that defensive side. Offensively, they have a lot of question marks. Both sides of the ball, pretty much really big question marks for both teams. 102nd on offense last year in the country. Defensively, 127th. Those are not really good numbers, to be honest, for Duke. Those are not really good numbers. Something to build on this year for this Duke team. 22.8 points a game last year on the offensive side of the ball. 39.8 points given up on opponent's side. So there's a lot of question marks surrounding this Duke team this year. 3-9 was just not a good year last year. A lot of people thought this Duke team would be improved, but this year it's even more tougher with the production percentage for them. They're going to have a young team, guys. They're going to have a young team, everyone. Let's see how they look, though. And here's that schedule for 2022 for the Duke Blue Devils. An opening game against Temple on September 2nd is not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game. Temple's a pretty good, group of five team. They're not really explosive like Duke, though. Temple has less talent than everybody else on this schedule a little bit. Except for North Carolina A&T. And that game right there is not going to be an easy one, though. But I think Duke should really win this game. I don't really see Temple, really compete in this game. Maybe they do compete, but, it's a game that I think Duke will win barely, not by much, but, it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game. Don't really sleep on that one. And then there's that game against Northwestern on the road. We know how Northwestern is this year. They're bringing they're bringing quite a lot back this year. This one is on the road as well. Tough place to play here for Duke. I just don't really see Duke competing, to be honest, in this game. Northwestern has more talent than Duke as well, and Duke's just beginning the season with their young team, and it's just going to take a while for them to really, figure out that young team there. But Duke does not win that game. I think it's a blowout. It's really hard to tell what will happen in that game, but Northwestern is really too talented, and I think Duke will not really even get close. Duke does take care of business, though, against North Carolina A&T. That game is on September 17th. That's a game that Duke should take care of business in. Next game is on the road at Kansas, September the 24th. This one is a really interesting matchup. Kansas has a lot coming back this year on both sides of the ball. Pretty even offense and pretty even defense team. I think Kansas has more talent than Duke. This game, though, is going to go back and forth. It will probably be a back-and-forth contest, between these two teams. Kansas and Duke have had some fair share of matchups in football, but not by a lot. But I think Kansas is, got the talent and the production percentage ahead of them, and I think they will defeat Duke in this game. Not by a blowout, but, man, it's going to be a shootout. I think it will be a shootout game. Maybe it's something like in the 40-point category. It's a game where it can go either way. I think Kansas, at the end of the day, does take home the win. And they open up ACC play against Virginia on October the 1st. This is an interesting matchup as well. Virginia is a team that, people are pretty high on this year. There's, a lot of hopes for Virginia this year. This team was not good last year, but, they lose quite a lot on defense as well. This could be an interesting matchup. I think Duke, if their defense really shines in this game, they can have a chance to win. But at the end of the day, though, I think Virginia is going to come ahead with the win. I think production percentage-wise, I think I give it to Virginia. Virginia really has, doesn't really have a lot coming back, but, both of these teams don't really have a lot coming back as well. I think Duke will have a lot of close games this year, but this one is another game that they could wind up winning. And there's that game on the road at Georgia Tech. We know about Georgia Tech. They have a lot of question marks to answer this year. Georgia Tech hasn't been really good in the last few years, let's be honest. This one is on the road, though. Can Duke pull it off? Can Duke pull off a win here at Georgia Tech? I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a game that, can go either way. At the end of the day, though, I do pick Georgia Tech to win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, though. I think it's a game that can go either way. I think Duke will have a lot of close games this year, but they will come up short in a lot of these games. and it will be hard to see what Duke does after this year if they lose a lot of these close games. Next game is against rival North Carolina, October the 15th. This one is an interesting matchup. North Carolina loses Sam Howell at quarterback. What is North Carolina going to look like? That is the question as well. North Carolina has a lot of answers to, on offense as well. Eventually, they're going to be really good. They bring quite a lot back on defense. There's a possibility that, Duke can pull off a win here. There is a possibility. It's at home, but the offensive, is going to be the question for Duke. But North Carolina, I think their defense will stand up in this game. North Carolina's defense will be, better probably by this time as well. And I think North Carolina is going to come out on top of the win. It will be a close game, though. Don't really sleep on it. It will be a close one. Duke can potentially win this game. It's a rival game anyway. And it's been, it seems like North Carolina has really controlled Duke in the last few years, though. So that's the main thing. Next game is against Miami on the road, October 22nd. This one is a tricky place to play here for Duke. Miami's going to be an interesting, team this year. Miami does bring quite a lot back on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, they're going to be a little bit, young, but, not really, a bad team as well. But Miami has got too much talent ahead of them. I don't think Duke will even get close in this game. I just think it's going to be too much for Duke in this one to handle. I think Miami will pull out the win here. I think Duke does not really compete at all in this one. It's another game that Duke doesn't compete since that Northwestern game. Next game is on the road at Boston College. They get a bye week before playing this game, and it's an interesting matchup. Boston College is going to have a young team this year. A little bit, coming back for them, though, as well. This one is on the road. And, the first half, I think Duke does hang in there with them. Second half, I think Boston College defense will step up, and I think they will pull out the win here against Duke. It will be a close one in the first half. Second half, though, Boston College steps up to the table, and they do defeat Duke in this one on November the 4th. Virginia Tech on November 12th. This one is another matchup that, Duke can try to win, but Virginia Tech does have a lot of question marks on offense. Defensively, they're going to be bringing quite a lot back. Virginia Tech wasn't that great last year, let's be honest. They had an up-and-down season. But at the end of the day, though, Virginia Tech is probably too much talent, has too much talent, I think, for Duke to handle. And I think I see Virginia Tech winning this game. I just don't really see Duke, pulling out a win here. Maybe they'll compete in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, though. Virginia Tech does pull away. Pittsburgh on the road on November the 19th. We know how good this Pittsburgh team was. They lose Kenny Pickett, though, at quarterback. They still bring quite a lot back, though, this year. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what Pittsburgh does without Kenny Pickett. Pittsburgh, though, I think is too talented here, and I think Duke won't really compete in this game. I just don't see Duke really pulling off the win here on the road. Pittsburgh's just really too talented, and, they're still going to be really good without Kenny Pickett. Let's be honest, they're still going to be really good. Wake Forest, that final game against Wake Forest on November the 26th. Wake Forest was a great team last year. They bring almost everybody back on offense. Defensively, they're going to be quite a bit losing there, but, this team should be really good, still explosive, from last year. But Duke, I don't think I really see them competing in this game. Maybe first quarter they do give them a scare, but at the end of the day, it's Wake Forest. I think it's going to be a tough season for Duke. And the overall record is 2-10 in 2022 for the Duke Blue Devils. They have potential wins on that schedule, though. Kansas is a potential win, Georgia Tech, maybe Virginia as well. But those games against, Northwestern and Pittsburgh, I don't really see them competing in those games as well. I mean, Miami is another game that I don't really see competing. But give me your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about this Duke team? What do you think their record will be in 2022? And stay tuned here for more on college football predictions this week. Stay tuned here for more on Lucas Ross Sports.